Welcome to another edition of Beyond Sight. I'm your host, Hasan Clay. And, I was happy to hear a song the other day, right? And it kind of brought me to a thought I wanted to bring to this podcast, this episode. And seriously, if I can get you to remember something about not having conflict and living in peace, it would be that peace is not about what's going on around you, but how you choose to show up in it. I want you to think about that. Because what really happens, we don't show up for peace. We want peace, but we don't show up with it. And we have a bad understanding of what peace really looks like and what peace. A lot of times we think peace is the absence of conflict or absence of chaos or things of nature there. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that some of that may not be true, but you want peace without paying a price for peace. And what that price looks like is this here. It's all about you. That's the price you have to pay to get peace. The price you have to pay is a price that you have to pay. And what that looks like, it's going to be three things I want to really kind of discuss here. And believe me when I tell you this, I have been through this whole walk of trying to get to peace. And I've asked a boatload of questions, a boatload of how you get to peace. Some people think having peace is money or having material things or various different things of that nature there. But I know a multitude of people who got plenty of money but have no peace in their homes, no peace on their jobs, but they got plenty of bank. They can buy, they got some of the latest vehicles, the latest clothes, they got designers all over this stuff, and they go on vacations, and they even go on vacation and don't have peace on vacation. How about that? I've known a person to be on the banks on the ocean in Italy crying because they didn't have any peace. Beautiful sunset, beautiful mornings, crying because they didn't have peace. So peace isn't always about where you are in locality, but where you are right here. And so that first thing I want to bring to you is mastery of self. You have to know you. In order to make sure that you can tap into peace, you have to know you. What's your values, what's your principles, what you stand for, what you're not going to deal with, things in nature that you have to understand the very makeup of you. What your heart can take, what your heart can't take, what your mind can take, what your mind can't take. And it can't be surface level, it can't be superficial. But I ain't going, it can't do the head bobbing thing, I ain't going for this, and all this old type of foolishness. Because it really don't come out that way. Peace is about the quiet that you understand about yourself. I want that to resonate for a second. If you don't have a tap on you, I don't care what you think your social economical status might be in life, what job you have, what woman or man you married to, how many kids you got, where your kids go to school, what kind of car you in, neighborhood you live in, if you got all these plazas and shopping malls and walking trails and so-called greeneries and all this old type of foolishness here. If you ain't tapping into you, you're lying to yourself. You ain't lying to me. You're not lying to me, because I understand you at this point. You don't have self-mastery, because this is what will happen. People who are looking for peace, normally, because they're not in tune with self, they then get pulled in you got people who are looking for peace who are on drugs, who has promiscuous behaviors, who do all type of things that really they're in a quest to find peace, and what they're doing is being very destructive to their own personal self. They go to putting tattoos and everything all up. Now you do what you want to do with your body, right? But people who are doing this looking for peace because they're not mastering, and when you don't do a mastery, you have contentment. They're not content with self. I can tell you this for the longest. I was not content with me. So I've done things I had no business doing. I get involved in things I had no business getting involved with, because I was trying to search for answers for myself. And only when I just really understood where I am, what's happening with me in life, and started getting content with me. I still have values. I still have wants. I still have desires. That does not mean that those things do not show up in your life. Your needs, those things does not mean the acquisition of peace, the going after peace, does not mean that those things do not exist. You have peace and still have a desire to want something. But it's not going to throw you off if you don't have it, because you're cool with where you're at. You're actually straight with where you're at. I want it, but I'm not going to turn tricks and violate myself in order to get it. I'm not going to violate my principles and my values. I'm not going to play myself out in order to get it. And many of us done that when we were younger. I'll tell you no lie. I know people who are older right now doing the very same thing. They doing all type of stuff to their bodies, doing all type of stuff in a person, in and out of a person, thinking that this is how they're going to get to peace. Their whole persona is how somebody is looking at them versus how they view themselves. That's step one. And if you want to learn how not to get caught up with high conflict personalities, high conflict people, you got to first start learning how to master you. Right? The second one is the energy that you allow into your space, and the energy that you actually kind of put out there as well. And what we mean by that, you don't have to be high octane in order to get your point across, in order to stand your ground. You know, some people make this statement here: I'm a grown ass, whatever, man or woman. I'm this, or I'm that, I'm this, and I'm that. As if saying it makes it true. Because you may say it, but you do a whole lot of things that really denounces your grown status, if you will. You know, well, I ain't the one to be messed with. I ain't just, many times people who may remember me or know me or what, where I stand a ground on, caught a pure case behind that. Why? Because I wasn't mastering me, and I was giving out an energy. I could have just left all that alone and done something totally. I got years taken away from my life because of energy. The idea of mastering self in energy. Right. And so this last one, and it, this is a very hard podcast for me in a sense, because I'm actually living through some of the things that, as I speak, I'm living through mentally some of the things that had taken place with me. Right. I mean, I'm okay. Don't get me twisted. I'm okay. I just remember, but I'm actually able to remember so I can share with you about how not to make these decisions, how to do something different with our lives. Because one thing about it, there's this force out there in the world that really do not want you to have peace. And so they will give you this bad understanding of what peace is. They have you thinking and moving in directions that really compromises you more so than gives you peace. So you have people who are thinking, I'm getting high, I'm self-medicating, or I'm doing this, because they're really looking for peace. Well, I'm with this person, or I'm with that person, and I'm doing this, and they're compromised. You got people who are trying to really be at peace, who are having total affairs on their husbands or their wives, because they think they're looking for some type of peace. And that's just the name of few. It's more than name. That's just a name of few. Right? So I want everyone to realize that this segment here, this episode here, is about how we can get to this peace that we're looking for, and how we can view peace again beyond sight, beyond what it is that we can see, how we can do something different to get to peace and sustain peace and to live in it, and not to be judgmental, not to be not to victimize other people, not to reduce other people. I don't have to reduce anybody else in order to maintain my standing or myself, my position in their life. I don't have to look at other people and make them feel bad about where they are, what's going on with them, in order for me to maintain my peace. Because contrary to popular opinion, peace is not this external thing that we're looking for. If I can I'm going to Jamaica, or I can go to Morocco, or I can go to Europe, or I can do this and that will give me peace. Because I can tell you for a fact that it probably won't if you're not content within you. And so that last one is getting to get that clarity. Now, I talked about clarity in various different ways in previous episodes, but I want to make a connection here with clarity. The clarity is being aware of you. That person, that person, that person. That person whose mind and heart, who's connected to the outer appearance, everything. The person on the inside has to reflect the person on the outside. Right? If not, to be honest with you, you got hypocrisy in your life. If those two people, if those two entities are not meeting up, the inner person and the outer person, I am saying you are a hypocrite. You have a lot of hypocrisy in your life. And there's no way in hell you can have peace and have hypocrisy. There's no way. They don't match. It's night and day. They're never going to meet. East and West, they're never going to meet. And this is, like I say, this is a very serious podcast for me. This is a very touching podcast for me right now, because I know what my over 60 years of living in this life, what it's been like in the search for peace. And so then my awareness has to be about what integrity looks like for me, because peace is really connected to integrity, right? Peace is connected to where I'm standing and how I feel about what I said here and here. And I'm clear about that. There's no doubt. I've removed all doubt that I'm learning. I continue to learn, because I'm a person. I'm an evolving person. I evolve to death. I want you to marinate that one on that one for a second. I evolve to death. And so that means I am going to continue to climb and climb till I no longer in this world. So I'm gonna be clear about that. I'm gonna be aware of what that looks like. I tell most people, every 5 years, give and take a year, people change, right? Situations change, marriages change, your work environment may change, right? Give and take 5 years, give and take a year up and down. Every 5 years, people change. If a person been married 20 years, that means, real talk, they had a minimum of 4 relationships in that marriage. These things have taken on new. The people aren't the same. If you've been married, if you got married at 20 and you're now 40, you are not the person you were at 20. If you are still that same person at 20, you have arrested development. And that's what people look at peace as. They have an idea of peace as arrested development. So I want to share that with us. And how do we get to the peace? I gave you 3 ways. Master self. Learn how to be content with self. We're going to learn how to harness this energy without getting pulled into various different conflicts and conversations and things of nature there. Everybody is not deserving of your energy. Sometimes you just got to know when to let it go, leave it alone. And we're going to get clarity about self. Right? This is what I stand on. This is who I am, because this is I kind of got a awareness of me, and I'm clear about what I'm moving in life and what direction I'm going to go in life. And why is this important? Because if you want to tame the storm, if you want to understand and overcome high conflict personalities for a peaceful life, you need to understand these 3 steps, right? I'm going to break that down real simple. You have to understand those 3 steps, right? And if you can't, and if you're not willing to, understand that you are always going to be subject to somebody else who knows how to manipulate and play in your face. And this is one of the things that I think I learned over the years of trying to keep people from playing in my face. And I don't want to play in anyone else's face, right? So I want us to look at that. I want us to think about that. If y'all have any comments, please, by all means, share. Let me know. Tell me what you got on your head. What this episode might have done for you. Where you can take this, and also just look for peace the right way. All right. Y'all can catch me on all social media platforms, and under the Hasan Clay Experience. That's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, on LinkedIn, you can find me on the Hasan Clay, and Facebook, find me on the Hasan Clay. Those are only 2 places you won't find me on the Hasan Clay Experience. by all means, please share this. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's pump this channel up. And again, every Monday night at 7 p.m., Staying Goals. The recording goes out. And by all means, please share, 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 share. Say it one more time. Share, 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 share. And we're going to see you guys in next week. With that, y'all have a great week and have a prosperous weekend and a fun weekend.